Hey Aries, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works, leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your wavelength or storyline, go check your other major placements. Major placements are Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And I have some new decks I'm playing with this week. We'll see how this all shakes out. But we're starting with the Botanical inspirations based on Victorian illustrations. Well, they are Victorian illustrations, Victorian era illustrations, and about what all the different flowers meant. So we're looking at sort of what energy we might be talking about, what we might be dealing with, and then we're going to move on to the tarot reading, which I also have another new deck for. So very exciting. So we get Pansy. Pansies are edible, by the way, and delicious. Sweet thoughts. Pray you love, remember. There are pansies, that's for thoughts. Okay, all right. But sweet thoughts. Okay, so we might be thinking about, what we're thinking about. What do we keep in our mind? What do we hold there? What kind of thoughts do we allow? Are we aware of the thoughts we're allowing? All right, Aries. Here's your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's the issue? Your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. All right. Oh, yes. I figured that Nine of Swords would show up here. If we're talking about sweet thoughts, we got to be talking about not so sweet thoughts. But it looks like we're headed out of that nightmare, anxiety issue. So that sounds good. All right. Let's take a look at where we're going here. We've got, in your recent past, we've got 3 of coins. Teamwork makes the dream work. Everybody working together. Everybody having a role to play. We've got, I love how this is like a group of women, because normally it's depicted as men working. And it's women working too here. Everybody's working together to create this sanctuary, to create something beautiful. Working together. And there's all sorts of different roles. We have the spiritual advisor, we have the craftsman, we have she's got a scissors, she's sewing things, she's weaving things. There's all sorts of someone's reading things. There's all sorts of different ways we can contribute. Everyone in this group is contributing their own gifts, their own special, unique thing to the group. So this could have been a group project. This could be work, because it's 3 of Pentacles, people working together. This can be a family where everyone's sort of working together towards the vision of being a family and being together. So this is, pretty harmonious. It's work. People are doing work, but they're very focused, and they're all contributing and bringing their contributions in. What's at issue here, or what you're doing right now, your present situation involves a 10 of Wands type of energy. So this 10 of Wands here is about a burden, and you've reached the end of the line here with this burden. You're at the place where burdens get put down. So you're going to put this burden down. You've hit the wall with how far you can carry this burden. You can't carry it anymore. It's not even yours to carry. That's the funny thing about this Wands burden. These are other people's expectations, other people's demands, what other people thought you should do, what other people demanded you should do, what you just assumed other people wanted you to do, what you just thought. And it's been very difficult and long. Oh, you're barefoot. You're like, you haven't even, it's not even been a comfortable journey at all. It's been a pretty uncomfortable journey, and very sad, very burdensome, very heavy thing to carry you've been carrying. And here you are, you're at the end of the line, and this is, you're putting it down. You're at the place here where it's time to put your burden down. It's time to unload, to let loose of other people's expectations. Put them down. You've come to the right place. You've come to the right time in your life. It's time to put these things down. So maybe there was supposed to be some teamwork here, but you were carrying the team. You were that team member that was doing all the work, and the other ones showed up for the meeting sometimes, having forgotten to do what they said they would do at the last meeting or whatever. So you're putting some sort of burden down, something that's just too heavy, too much. Maybe too much work, maybe you're carrying the load with a relationship. It's just too much. And your inner landscape, this is such a fascinating card when it shows up on the inner landscape. It kind of confuses me. It's the World card here. Oh, so this is deck, I should tell you, this is the Golden Tarot. It's new to me, but I connected with it immediately. I sometimes buy decks and then open and work with them for a while, and there's just nothing there. I just don't get what's going on. I'm not meshing with the artist, even though I like their art. It doesn't speak to me. This deck spoke to me immediately out of the package. And it's what it is it's collages of Renaissance and medieval art. So I think it's pretty cool. So anyway, we have the World card here on your inner landscape. This is mothering. The way this card, so that's what's fascinating about all these different tarot decks, is that like the cards have all different possible meanings based on where they're positioned, upright, reversed, what's next to them, what's over them, behind them. So there's a lot of different meanings, and it's always interesting when an artist picks up a meaning that okay, technically, yeah, but I've never thought of that card of it. So this is what I'm experiencing right now with this card, and it's in your inner landscape. It's a fiercely exterior card. So normally when we see the world, it's about the world changing, something in our exterior life changing that's completely outside of our control. We don't get a say. This artist, and even in the book, it goes into some sort of mothering role here, as far as like taking care of things while the world changes, or being a caretaker of your inner life, of your sanctuary, of you as the world changes. So I guess this card makes more sense in this slot than any other deck I have, honestly, now that I'm talking through it. So the world is changing, and you have this sanctuary, and you are protecting it. You have an arrow in your hand, and you have all of these little bibbies underneath your cape here, right? And so you're protecting them. And these might be aspects of yourself that you are feeling very protective of as the world changes. You could be wishing for some protection here, some sense of safety as the world changes and moves. As things that are completely out of your control happen and shift, you are thinking about safety, thinking about protecting your loved ones, thinking about protecting your dreams, protecting your future as all of these changes happen. And you could also, that gets exhausting, so you could also be longing for some sort of protection, some sort of loving, caring protection of you as the whole world changes and moves, as it is doing quite rapidly. So I think you're hoping to be able to protect yourself and protect your dreams and your loved ones, and you're also hoping for that sense of protection as well, and being able to find your safety zone, feel safe, both. And I think when our loved ones are safe, we feel safe too, because we're safe from that pain that could happen if something happens to those loved ones. Because oftentimes, when you have when you have the people that you care about so much, when bad things happen to them, or when they're unsettled or unstable, we feel it. We feel that, and our sense of safety is really intertwined with our sense of being safe from the emotional pain of having to lose our loved ones or watch them go through difficult things. So there's some sort of sense of safety that you're seeking here in the storm of life, as everything changes rather tumultuously in the world around you. Within, you are looking for a sense of safety and security, a sanctuary, a womb-like softness, as the harshness of the world keeps hammering us. In your, what's at issue here is this Nine of Swords. It's reversed, but that doesn't change the meaning all that much. It just means that maybe you're waking up slowly from a nightmare, but there's a lot of anxiety here, a lot of fears, which is, of course, prompting this desire for sanctuary and safety as the world is changing. So there's just a lot of fear. You have a lot of fear, a lot of worries and concerns. You might be putting those down. You might be waking up. This is the nightmare card. You know, we've got the dog baying at us. We've got these swords here of all these thoughts that we have that are painful and cause us pain. That's why we're getting the sweet thoughts. I knew that, well, wait, I knew that at the beginning. I'm just remembering it now. This is this card showing up with sweet thoughts about thinking about what we're thinking about anxieties and fears. And sometimes we don't even realize we have them. Sometimes we don't even understand that our fears are more about what's in our mind than about the world and the way it's changing. And so it's more about our perspective. So sweet thoughts here is about waking up to those sweet thoughts and the choices that we have to focus on what we're going to focus on and what we're going to believe in. You know, oftentimes with anxieties, there's one way to turn anxiety into gratitude is to just be like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried that I'm so worried that I'm going to get in a car accident. Oh my gosh, I'm so worried that I'm going to get in a car accident, and having those fears and having that anxiety. And if you are worried about that, there's like really great cognitive methods. You can find a therapist. It actually goes very, about 20 years ago, I had intense car anxiety. I could barely ride in a car thanks to 2 back-to-back accidents that weren't my fault. I wasn't even driving. So, but it was like a 6-week thing, and then it was done. So if you're having anxieties like that, like really pointed anxieties, there's a lot of help. It goes very quickly. You just do what they tell you to do. But the sweet thoughts here. So we're realizing that we get to pick what we think on and make those choices and decisions and come out of our anxiousness and decide to. Oh yeah, I was going to say. Being great. So if you're having anxiety about driving or about an accident or one of your loved ones getting in an accident, you can always think like, I'm so glad. Once you catch that thought, you can be like, oh, I'm so glad. I'm so grateful that hasn't happened yet. Or if it has happened, I'm so grateful that hasn't happened again. So it's once you catch those anxious thoughts, there's some good ways to flip them around pretty quickly. Especially I get into storytelling mode in my mind, and I can have difficulty dropping the story. So to just like change my perspective on the story, I can still keep imagining it. And then I'm just like, oh, and I'm so grateful nobody broke their arm. And I'm so grateful I don't have to deal with an insurance company. And, you know, the whole unraveling of the scenario. So anyway, so we're talking about positive thoughts, keeping our thoughts positive. And that's not false, that's not fake. That's a really interesting thing about some of these negative fear thoughts. So they're even more false and more fake than positive thoughts, right? So, you know, oh, that could never happen to me is, how do you know? How do you know something good, you know, if you're like, oh, I could never, I wouldn't be able to do that or whatever, you know, that, or I don't know where I'm going with that. So let's just move on. All right, so in your environment, you have the 8 of Swords. So this is, oh my gosh, we're dealing a lot with your perceptions of things, your fears about things, and changing the way you think so that your thoughts are supporting you. Your own mind is supporting you instead of detracting from you, and instead of making your life harder, your own mind can make your life easier. And better, and be very supportive of you and the future you hope to come into. So in your environment, you have this 8 of Swords. So this is an energy around you, which what I find really funny about this reading is you have this incredibly external card, the World card, in your interior landscape. In your exterior landscape, you have this incredibly internal card in your external landscape. This card is all about, again, your thoughts and your fears. You think you're trapped. You're not trapped. This card is about you're not trapped. It looks like you're trapped. There's something in your environment that makes it look very clearly to you that you're trapped and you're stuck. The thing I love about the depiction in this card is she's bound with a, I don't know if you can see this. It's a bow. It's a bow. It's not a knot, it's a bow. She's bound with a bow. The swords are nearby, they are, but they're not trapping her. She's free to move. She could very easily slip her hands out of this bond and untie the blindfold and continue down the mountain to someplace more temperate. She's fine. She is physically fine. It's her mind that has her trapped and has her thinking that she's stuck in this place. And of course, I'm just using female pronouns because she presents as female, that's all. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual people involved or you and who you are. So this is about the perception. There's something in your environment that makes you believe that you're trapped, that has you thinking that you're trapped and you're stuck and you can't do anything, you can't change this. And it's a trick though. So there's some sort of trick going on in your environment, going on. This could be someone else telling you something. This could be a belief that you have, but I think it's someone else telling you that you're trapped, you're stuck, and you have to do this. And you really don't, because we're also talking about this 10 of Wands. I don't have to. I'm done. I'm done doing what I'm supposed to be doing what you're telling me to do. I'm done carrying this burden. I'm done believing that I'm trapped because I'm actually not trapped at all. I can move forward. So that's something in your environment is making you believe. Maybe it's a person that's convinced you that you are trapped, convinced you that your fears are real. And here you are, you're starting to come out of this and wake up that these fears just aren't real at all. They're not founded on anything. Look at this. They're not founded on any stupid thing, like at all. It's just a little bump in the road. That's all. It's not a prison. It's a perception. And someone's created the perception for you, or some sort of situation in your life has created the perception of being trapped, and you're not. And your to-do list is to stay strong. Strong, patient, stay true and loyal to yourself. Stay strong. Make sure that you're, I see a bird here, so make sure that you're thinking clearly and you're thinking about what you want and you're staying true to that and you're staying very strong. This is a lot of inner strength and a lot of inner patience to move forward. I love how this has a horse that's prepared for battle. Very fancy battle. But this horse is prepared for battle and is ready to go forward. It's armored up and it's so strong. It's so muscular. There's nothing that can defeat this horse. This is the strongest horse, and it's very focused on what it's here to do. So there may be a situation in which you need to remain strong, remain true to your goals, remain true because maybe you feel like giving up or you feel like not going for what you want. I feel like this is more about a not going for what you want reading because someone has you convinced that you can't have it. You need to ask yourself why they would want to convince you that you can't have it. What's in it for them? You continuing to carry their sticks for them? Their burden for them? What's in it for them? What's in it for the business, the company, the relationship that wants you to keep carrying this burden? Because they're getting something out of it, and they're going to be pretty upset and pissed off when you put down this burden and you realize you're not trapped at all. So be strong. If you want to go for something, do it, and know that you're going to get some blowback because other people are getting what they want out of the status quo, right? This isn't a parade here. This isn't the 6 of Wands. This is the 10 of Wands. People don't like it when you put down their burdens. They're going to resist and give you blowback, but it's not going to be that bad. It's more in your mind. So this is thinking positively. Keep thinking positively about the situation, about going forward and getting what you want and going for what you want. Do not let the naysayers... do not let the people that want this to maintain the status quo control the conversation or the situation. Here's where you're going, or a possibility for your future. We have a 4 of Cups here. So this is a really interesting card for your possible future here. 4 of Cups is about an offer coming in and not wanting it, not taking it, either feeling like you have enough on your plate. Maybe you have enough on your plate. But this one is very divinely guided. This new offer coming in is divinely guided. So you might be making an offer to somebody and they might end up refusing it. Your job is to make your offers. Your job is to do your job, is to stay true to who you are and what you want to do, right? So if you want to make an offer, you make the offer no matter if they are going to turn it down or not, because you have to answer to yourself. So if you can go on and say, okay, it's fine that I never tried that. It's fine that I never made that offer. If you want to do that, then you live with that decision, you know, that you never made that offer. You never even approached them, even if you know that they're going to refuse it. So there's some sort of emotional offering here and you're refusing it. And maybe it's a manipulation. Maybe you can see it for what it is. Like, I'm not taking, you know, maybe it's Lucy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Charlie Brown, but Lucy always like holds the football and is like, kick it, Charlie Brown, kick it. And every time he says, and she promises, oh, this time it'll be different. This time it'll be different. And then he takes a running leap to go kick it, and she removes the ball, and he never, ever, ever once kicks the ball. So it could be that kind of pattern where someone's made you an offer over and over and over again, and this time you're going to stay strong. You're going to refuse it because you know it's bullshit. You know it's always going to be the same old thing over and over again. Or this could be you staying strong. Yeah, I just see an offer being refused. You've had enough and you don't want it. So I don't see this as a negative thing in this card, which I'm sure we could see this card as a negative thing, as some sort of divine offering coming in and it being, and you refusing it because you're doing something else, so you're already drunk, you're whatever. But the way this reading has gone, I really see it as a repeated behavior coming in and you refusing to fall for it this time. You just like, oh yeah, I've had that wine before. I don't like it. I don't need it. So that's the reading I'm getting from this card. And again, the Four of Cups is one of those cards that, depending on whatever is going on, like around it, is this a divine offering and you're just stubbornly refusing it? Maybe an opportunity comes in and you're like, no, I can't because I have this job. And it's like, well, this is better than that. So an offer could come in and you might contemplate refusing it. So I'd say contemplate both aspects and make sure your mind's open to receiving it and understanding that you can change some sort of dynamic in your life in order to receive that offer if you want to, or maybe it's the same old offer. If it looks the same as any other offer that's come in, you can expect it to be the same. But if it looks totally different and you're just worried about, I can also see a scenario here where you're just worried about like, oh, I can't accept that offer right now because I have this stuff going on. But you could accept the offer. You could accept the offer. You could look into it. So I guess maybe if an offer comes in or something like that, just say, I'll look into it, or can I have a time to consider, and really then seriously consider it. But if it's the same old bullshit you've been dealing with for a while, just you don't need to deal with it. Stay strong. So stay strong. If you have a dream coming in and it comes in and they're like, hey, we'd like to offer this, and you're like, no, but I have a shitty job that I have to keep going to. What? I did that once. So stay strong and stay true to your dream. Or if your dream is to free yourself from some situation and it comes in again and it's like, oh no, this time it's going to be different. It's not. So, all right, so we're focusing on staying positive, staying grateful, because this reading's a little bit hard, but a lot of it's just in your mind, and a lot of it's how you're perceiving things and perceiving the opportunities and perceiving the burdens in your life. So, but we're going to just stay positive here. Good things can happen to you, and you can move forward. You're not stuck, and you're not stuck carrying other people's stuff. Anyway, good things can happen to you, and I think they're going to. So I hope you have a great week, Aries. Thank you so much for your likes, comments, and subscribes.